Welcome to another episode of Ancient Asian Legends. I'm your host, Mei Li Soon. In the last episode, the Jade Emperor granted Wukong the title Great Sage Equal to Heaven, and Wukong was truly happy. But you know a twist is coming. Listen to today's episode and find out what trouble Wukong got himself into. But that's not all. Stay tuned for our proverb of the day, infusing our narrative with timeless Asian wisdom. Without delay, let's dive into Chapter 7, Chaos at the Peach Banquet. Chapter 7, Chaos at the Peach Banquet. Our great sage equal to heaven, recently ascended to celestial status, was a playful monkey after all. He cared little about job titles, rank, or salary. He entrusted his basic needs to the celestial attendants, embracing a carefree existence within the palace, equal to heaven. It turned out, Wukong was quite the social butterfly. He enthusiastically engaged in social activities, became friends with countless gods of the Milky Way, and respectfully interacted with celestial beings of higher ranks. He wandered from east to west like a mysterious drifting cloud. One day, during the Jade Emperor's morning court, Taoist Xu Jingyang stepped forward and suggested,
"Perhaps we should assign a task to the great sage equal to heaven to occupy his time. He is actively cultivating connections with celestial stars across all ranks. Providing him with a purpose might help avert potential issues in the future."
The Jade Emperor agreed and quickly issued a decree. The Monkey King happily accepted the task of managing the peach garden, thanking the emperor before leaving. Wukong couldn't wait to get busy, so he entered the peach garden to inspect it. An earth deity in the garden asked,
"Where are you going, great sage?"
"The Jade Emperor asked me to take care of the peach garden. I'm here for an inspection."
The deity quickly bowed, summoned the tree-felling, water-carrying, peach-growing, and cleaning spirits, all of whom paid their respects to Wukong and led him inside. In the garden, he uncovered a lush oasis bustling with blossoming flowers and fruits. The fruits, ranging in size, adorned the branches like vibrant balloons, while the flowers mirrored a delicate blush draping the tree. It requires 1,000 years for the fruits to ripen, defying seasonal constraints. Mature fruits flaunted hues evocative of a flushed complexion, while the youthful ones retained their vibrant green. This garden wasn't merely a patch of land, it stood as a celestial masterpiece, meticulously nurtured by the Queen Mother herself. After observing for a while, the great sage asked the earth deity,
"How many trees are there in this grove?"
"In this orchard there are 3,600 trees. The first 1,200 have small flowers and fruits that ripen every 3,000 years. Eating them makes you a celestial being with a healthy body. The next 1,200 trees with sweet flowers ripen every 6,000 years. Eating them helps you rise through rosy clouds and become immortal. The last 1,200 trees with purple patterns and red cores ripen every 9,000 years. Eating them gives you a lifespan as long as heaven and earth in harmony with the sun and moon."
The great sage was delighted beyond measure. He counted the number of trees, inspected the pavilions, and returned to his residence. From then on, every 3 to 5 days, he would check on the garden, no longer socializing or going on excursions. One day, noticing that the peaches on one of the oldest trees were nearly ripe, Wukong desired a taste. However, the garden's earth deities, laborers, and celestial officials from the palace equal to heaven were closely trailing him, making it inconvenient. Consequently, he formulated a plan and uttered,
"Wait for me outside, folks. I just need a quick break in this pavilion."
The celestial attendants withdrew. The Monkey King took off his crown and clothes, climbed a big tree, picked many ripe peaches, and enjoyed them leisurely on the branches. After a satisfying feast, he jumped down, dressed up again, and called everyone to return to the palace. After 2 or 3 days, he went again to steal peaches, enjoying them to his heart's content. One morning, the Queen Mother graciously hosted a banquet, unveiling the treasure pavilion and orchestrating a splendid peach banquet at the Jade Pool. In preparation, she assigned the task to the 7 fairy maidens adorned in red, white, black, blue, purple, yellow, and green, instructing them to gather peaches from the peach garden with their flower baskets. As the 7 fairy maidens reached the garden gate, they encountered the earthly deities of the garden and the celestial officials from the palace equal to heaven. Drawing nearer, the fairy maidens addressed them, saying,
"By the gracious decree of the Queen Mother, we are here to gather peaches for a banquet."
The earth deity replied,
Ladies, hold on. This year things are a bit different. The Jade Emperor has appointed the great sage equal to heaven to oversee the garden. We must inform him first.
Where is the great sage?
The great sage is inside the garden, resting in the pavilion.
In that case, we need to find him right away to prevent any delay.
The earth deity happily went with them inside. They looked around the flower pavilion, but found no one there, just some clothes and a crown left behind. They wondered where he could be. Little did they know, the Monkey King had been playing around, enjoying some peaches, and had turned into a tiny 2-inch figure, sleeping peacefully under a big tree's leaves. The 7 fairy maidens said,
"We can't return empty-handed without finding the Monkey King."
Follow the decree as instructed. It seems he's left the garden to mingle. Go ahead and pick peaches. We'll deliver your message.
The fairies carried out the instructions, actively picking peaches from the trees. They collected 2 baskets from the front trees, 3 from the middle ones, and upon reaching the back trees, discovered only a few with green stems and pale skin. It turned out the ripe ones had already been eaten by the Monkey King. The 7 fairies diligently searched the branches, and on the southern bough, they identified a half-red, half-white peach. The maiden in green plucked it, while the one in red tossed the branch upwards. Unbeknownst to them, the Monkey King had transformed and was dozing on that very branch, now stirred by their actions. The great sage swiftly revealed his true form, extracted the golden hoop rod from his ear, swung it once, and exclaimed,
"Who dares steal my peaches?"
In a panic, the 7 fairy maidens all knelt down and said,
"Great sage, we're here on behalf of the Queen Mother. No trouble intended. We came to pick peaches, unveil the treasure pavilion, and start the peach banquet. We found the earth deity and other spirits, but you were absent. Worried about disrupting the Queen Mother's plan, we started picking peaches. Please forgive the mix-up."
The great sage's anger turned into joy as he replied,
Fairy maidens, kindly stand. Whom has the Queen Mother invited to her banquet?
At the celestial gathering, traditions dictate the invitation of the 5 sages of the 5 directions, encompassing the Buddha, Bodhisattvas, and Arhats from the western heaven, Avalokiteshvara from the southern polar, the sacred emperor of Chang'an in the east, immortals from the 10 continents and 3 islands, the mysterious spirit of the northern polar, and the great immortal of the central yellow polar with yellow horns. Further attendees include the Star Lord of the 5 constellations, the 3 pure beings, 4 emperors, and Taiyi celestials from the upper 8 caves, the Jade Emperor, 9 leagues, and divine beings of the seas and mountains from middle 8 caves, and the Dark Abyss cult leader and earthly immortals from the lower 8 caves, representatives from various palaces and temples, including major and minor deities, will collectively partake in the Grand Peach Banquet.
Am I invited?
We haven't heard anything about that.
I am the great sage equal to heaven. Why not extend an invitation for me to join as an honored guest?
I outlined the protocol from the previous gathering. I'm uncertain about the arrangements for today's event.
Your words make sense. I can't blame you. Stay put for now. Let me inquire about the situation first and see if I can secure an invitation for myself.
The great sage conjured a spell and directed his fingers, commanding the fairy maidens, "Halt! Freeze! Stop!" It proved to be an immobilization spell, freezing the 7 fairy maidens under the peach tree with wide-open eyes and blank expressions. The great sage vaulted onto an auspicious cloud and swiftly departed from the garden, making his way directly to the road leading to the Jade Pool. Amidst radiant hues and perpetual clouds in the sky, Wukong spotted the Barefoot Great Immortal en route to the Peach Banquet. As they confronted each other, Wukong lowered his head, scheming to deceive him and assume his identity to attend the banquet. Wukong inquired,
Where is the immortal headed?
The Barefoot Great Immortal said,
I got an invitation from the Queen Mother, so I'm going to the Peach Banquet.
Guess what? Because of my fast somersault cloud moves, the Jade Emperor told me to invite everyone as we go. First, we need to visit the Bright Palace to pay our respects before heading to the banquet.
The Great Immortal, known for being honest and upright, believed his deceitful words. He stated,
I'm used to expressing gratitude and performing rituals at the Jade Pool all year round. Why the detour to the Bright Palace this time?
Cluelessly, the Barefoot Great Immortal steered his auspicious cloud towards the Bright Palace. As soon as he departed, the great sage hopped on the cloud, chanted a spell, and swiftly transformed, taking on the appearance of the Barefoot Great Immortal. He dashed toward the Jade Pool and, in no time, reached the treasure pavilion. Skillfully, he held the cloud in place as he entered. Inside the pavilion, sweet incense weaves through vibrant colors, creating an enchanting display. The jade platform is adorned with intricate patterns, and the treasure pavilion emits a dreamy mist. Imaginary phoenixes and mythical creatures dance around, while golden blooms and jade leaves cast cool shadows. Above, 9 phoenixes soar in crimson clouds, and 8 pillars shimmer with iridescent hues.
Elegant tables display a variety of delicacies: dragon liver, phoenix marrow, bear paws, each a culinary masterpiece. A mix of fruits and delicious dishes ensures a feast for both the eyes and the taste buds.
The place had a flawless arrangement, but no immortals had arrived yet. The great sage absorbed the scene when he suddenly caught the delightful aroma of fragrant wine. Turning around, he witnessed celestial officials skillfully crafting wine, muscular attendants expertly handling fermentation jars, and Taoist priests gracefully carrying water. Nearby, youngsters diligently tended to the fire and meticulously scrubbed pots. The air was filled with the enchanting fragrance of exquisite wines. Unable to resist the temptation, the great sage's mouth watered at the sight of the delicious spread. Determined to indulge himself despite the crowd, he unleashed his magical powers. Plucking a few hairs, he chewed them into bits, sprayed them out, and uttered a spell. "Transform!" Instantly, the hairs morphed into several drowsy bugs and scurried onto the faces of the unsuspecting individuals. Weariness overcame them. Their eyes closed, and they abandoned their duties to doze off. Seizing the opportunity, the great sage grabbed an assortment of exquisite dishes and delicacies, entered the gallery, and indulged in a hearty feast next to the fermentation jars and tubs. After a good while, thoroughly intoxicated, he patted himself and mumbled,
Uh-oh, what if guests arrive later? If I get caught, what am I going to do? Better head back home and take a nap.
Drunk and unsteady, the great sage accidentally stumbled into the Tushita Heaven Palace instead of his own palace equal to heaven. Recognizing his mistake, he took the chance to visit the Supreme Lord of Tao, who lived there. Upon entering, the great sage discovered the alchemy room empty except for an old metal furnace heated by a flickering flame. Delighted to find 5 gourds filled with refined golden pills, he eagerly devoured them, munching away like he would roasted beans while no one was watching. In an instant, the effects of the elixir sobered him up, and he reflected to himself,
Oh no, this was a major disaster. If the Jade Emperor found out, I'd be in big, big trouble. I gotta bail. I gotta bail. I gotta bail. It's way better to be the boss in the mortal world.
He dashed out of the Tushita Heaven Palace, taking a different path, and quietly slipped through the West Heaven Gate, using the invisible spell. Then he rode a cloud back to Huaguoshan Mountain. There he saw the 4 valiant generals and the 72 demon kings practicing martial arts with bright banners and shiny spears. The great sage shouted out loud,
I'm here, little ones.
The monsters dropped their weapons and knelt, saying,
Great sage, you've been away for so long, not even looking in our direction.
It hasn't been that long. It hasn't been that long.
As he talked, he walked straight into the depths of the cave. The 4 valiant generals bowed and asked,
What position did you hold in heaven during those 100 years?
I remember it was only half a year. How did it become 100 years?
A day in heaven is a year on earth.
I was pumped when the Jade Emperor appointed me as Great Sage equal to heaven, built me my own palace, and sent some celestial guards to assist me. He then asked me to look after the Peach Garden. When Queen Mother hosted the Peach Banquet recently, I didn't bother waiting for an invite. I hit up the Jade Pool, got myself some divine grub and drinks. After the banquet, I accidentally rolled into the palace of the Supreme Lord of Tao. Got lucky snacking on his stash of 5 gourds filled with golden pills. But worried about catching heat from the Jade Emperor, I bolted out through the heavenly gate.
The monsters were overjoyed. They quickly arranged a feast, serving coconut wine in a stone bowl. The great sage took a sip and immediately grimaced, saying,
Not tasty, not tasty.
Great sage, in the heavenly palace you've had celestial wines and delicacies, so coconut wine may not suit your refined palate.
Hey, so this morning at the Jade Pool, I stumbled upon this stash of bottles and jars loaded with that divine nectar right under the long corridor. None of you have had a taste yet. Let me grab a bunch of bottles. Once I'm back, we can all get half a cup each, and voila, eternal youth for everyone.
The monkeys erupted with joy. The great sage burst out of the cave, executed a swift flip, and employed an invisibility spell to dash to the Peach Banquet. Inside the Jade Pool Palace, he discovered the winemakers, fermenting experts, water carriers, and fire tenders, all unconscious. Without a moment's pause, he seized 2 jars from each side, clutched 2 more in his hands, then rapidly pivoted the cloud and raced back to the monkey cave. Rallying the monkeys, he hosted a divine wine banquet. After everyone had a few sips, their happiness soared to new heights. Back at the Peach Garden, the 7 fairy maidens found themselves captured by the immobilization spell cast by the great sage, and it took a full day for them to break free. Carrying baskets of peaches, they returned to the Queen Mother, reporting,
The Monkey King used a spell to trap us, causing a delay in our arrival.
Queen Mother asked,
How many peaches did you manage to pick?
We've got just 2 baskets of small peaches and 3 baskets of medium-sized ones. The large peaches at the back are almost gone. We reckon the Monkey King swiped and chomped down on them. While we were on the lookout, the Monkey King showed up and grilled us about the banquet guests. After we filled him in, he snared us and made a quick exit. It's only now that we've snapped out of it and made our way back.
Upon receiving the news, Queen Mother promptly approached the Jade Emperor, offering a comprehensive account of recent events. Before she could conclude, a delegation responsible for brewing the wine, accompanied by celestial officials, stepped forward to report,
We don't know who did it, but someone messed up the Peach Banquet, stealing and consuming the precious jade-like nectar and tasty treats.
Additionally, 4 great celestial masters reported,
The Supreme Lord of Tao has arrived.
The Jade Emperor and Queen Mother went out to welcome him immediately. After the Supreme Lord of Tao paid his respects, he revealed,
In my palace, I had prepared some 9-turn golden pills for your Majesty's elixir banquet. Unexpectedly, they were stolen by a thief. I felt it necessary to inform your Majesty about this matter.
The Jade Emperor felt a surge of unease. Soon after, officials from the palace equal to heaven knelt and reported,
"The great sage Sun Wukong slacked off and went on a leisurely trip since yesterday, and he hasn't come back. We have no idea where he is."
The Barefoot Immortal stepped forward and disclosed,
Yesterday, Queen Mother asked me to join the banquet. I ran into Sun Wukong, who said he had a decree. He told me to gather everyone for a ceremony at the Bright Palace before going to the banquet. I followed his instructions, went back to the Bright Palace, but didn't see any dragon carriages or phoenix chariots. So, I hurried here to wait for more instructions.
The Jade Emperor, growing increasingly alarmed, urgently declared,
"This trickster has deceived and misled our esteemed ministers. Swiftly instruct the spirit officials to search and trace his whereabouts."
The spirit officials swiftly exited the hall, investigated thoroughly, and gathered detailed information. Then they briefed,
The troublemaker in the heavenly palace is none other than the great sage equal to heaven.
Enraged, the Jade Emperor swiftly dispatched the 4 heavenly kings, led by the pagoda-bearing heavenly king Li Jing, and accompanied by his son, Prince Naja. The entourage included the 28 constellations, 9 luminaries, 12 celestial stems, 5 directional generals, 4 chief officers, eastern and western stars, southern and northern twin gods, 5 sacred mountains, and 4 great rivers, totaling 100,000 heavenly soldiers. Their mission? To establish 18 celestial nets, lay siege to Huaguoshan Mountain, and apprehend the troublemaker, Sun Wukong, for justice. The divine army, thus mobilized, set forth from the heavenly palace. A storm of yellow wind obscures the heavens, and a mysterious purple mist blankets the earthly realm. The 4 heavenly kings stand ready to command, while the 5 directional generals marshal celestial armies. The 5 planetary stars exude heroic fervor, and the 9 luminary stars revel in celestial conflicts. The forces of 5 plagues and 5 mountains dominate the east and west, while 6 earthly branches and 6 heavenly stems maneuver on the left and right. The 4 rivers are presided over by dragon deities, and the 28 constellations align in intricate layers. The Big Dipper, Virgo, Libra, Scorpius, Ophiuchus, Orion, Cetus, and Bootes all resonate with celestial potency. Mystical clouds and ethereal mists descend, creating a celestial camp at Huaguoshan. Is Wukong up for the challenge against 100,000 celestial troops? Or is his journey coming to an end? We'll find out in the next episode of Ancient Asian Legends.
Our proverb of the day is the following. Things turn around when they reach the extreme. When situations hit extremes, change follows. In Wukong's tale, his peak as the great sage equal to heaven led to a downfall, with 100,000 celestial soldiers chasing after him. On the flip side, hitting rock bottom often signals the start of improvement. There you have it. Things turn around when they reach the extreme. Our proverb of the day. Today's episode was adapted and translated by Mei Lee Soon, with original music by Jeff Harvey, Hot Dope, Ashot Danielyan, and Studio Columna. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share the joy with others. How will Wukong withstand 100,000 celestial soldiers? Join us in the next Ancient Asian Legends for more magic. Until then, take care and stay enchanted.